Hi, everyone. My name is Edward Chopsky. I'm a senior product marketing manager here with Bright Security. And today I'm joined with Gadi Bashvitz, our CEO. Gadi, can you talk about the demonstrable value that Bright Security brings?
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for listening to this video, and thanks for the discussion, Edward. I think it's important to understand why developer-centric DAST can have such an amazing ROI in comparison to legacy AppSec solutions. And when we look at that, the proof is really in the pudding. The first point that we want to emphasize is how confident are organizations that their web applications and APIs are not vulnerable when they go to production. And if we look at all the research that's out there and talks about the confidence level that organizations have, we can see that despite having deployed solutions around application and API security for years, 86% of organizations are still saying that they are knowingly deploying vulnerable applications and APIs to production. And the reason that that is happening is that by the time they scan the applications, by the time they have the ability to take action and remediate these vulnerabilities, it's too late. Because most AppSec solutions out there are scanning in a pre-production mode and are being used by the AppSec professionals, which means if I am a development organization that's utilizing modern development practices, CI/CD, DevOps, whatever you want to call it, by the time that the AppSec team is using these products to find vulnerabilities, it's too late, and all these vulnerabilities make it into production. As a comparison, what we're seeing from our customers, because they are deploying and running scans much, much earlier in the development lifecycle and having the developers themselves run these scans as part of the IDE integration, as part of unit testing integration, as part of integration testing, they can find a much larger percent of vulnerabilities. And they are confident in more than 50% of the cases that they have found the critical, the high, the medium vulnerabilities and remediated them before they made into production. And that's a very big change. Now, why is that happening? Let's look at the number of vulnerabilities or percent of vulnerabilities that are found early in the development lifecycle. Now, you can see that in legacy cases, less than 5% of vulnerabilities are found then. However, with our solution, about 55% of all the vulnerabilities are found early in the development lifecycle. So we're not saying you're going to find everything, right? Not everything will even manifest itself early in the development lifecycle, but the things that will manifest and are critical vulnerabilities and can be found and validated will be found, which means that you're finding 10x more vulnerabilities early on, and you're able to remediate them and fix them very early on, which means they will not appear in production. Now, why can you fix them so effectively early on? Because if you're finding things early in the IDE level, in the unit testing level, you can fix them 60x faster than if you would find them and try to remediate them in production. To understand what that means, if it would take you an hour to fix a vulnerability that was found early in the development lifecycle, it will actually take you 60 hours or about 2 weeks, which is an entire sprint to fix it if it was found in production. Not only does that mean that you are being much more efficient in your development cycles, but much more importantly, you don't need to schedule these fixes now, because what's the discussion that the security team and the development teams are having? Security tells developers, oh, we need you to fix these vulnerabilities. Development is saying, I already have the next 3, 4, 5, 10 sprints planned out. I can't block an entire sprint to spend 2 weeks to solve these vulnerabilities. And that's why it takes on average 280 days, more than 9 months, for development to actually fix these vulnerabilities that have made it into production. Whereas if you have a much smaller number of vulnerabilities that make it into production, with our customers, they're resolving these ones that do make it into production. Again, we don't claim that nothing will ever make it into production. We're just saying a much smaller number will make it. And that means that the ones that will make it will be remediated and fixed much, much faster. This also has significant impact on the collaboration between AppSec and engineering, because suddenly they're speaking the same language and they're operating at the same pace. Today, what we're seeing is that development is working at a pace like this, right? And AppSec is working at a pace like this with these legacy solutions. We're able to align the two paces and make sure that they're communicating and working correctly, and each team is actually doing the work that they should be doing. At the bottom line is that you actually, if you do have a data breach, the cost is going to be the same, but the probability of a data breach with the right solutions in place is significantly higher. So there's real ROI behind or as part of deploying developer-centric DaaS solutions, and we are happy to have a much deeper discussion on how you could deploy them and measure them within the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaddy. That was very insightful.